Yeah, Grawlix Nights. Welcome to Grawlix Nights, the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
Hey, Jesse, by the way, maybe it just cut out for me, but it cut out for a second during your name. He's Jesse.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
so nice that
going,
you can
everybody?
see the daylight behind me. That's how nice it is.
Yeah. Hey, it's like it's almost 8:30, which means we're right on time. By the way, hi, Helix Rock Radio. We're still streaming over there. Sorry to interrupt your CCR if we cut into that track. I see that's what was playing. Hey, everybody. So,
Yeah.
What's happened in the world since we last streamed? Surely not much.
Nothing. Very little.
Nothing. You
Nothing.
shut your mouth. Nothing happened.
Nothing has happened.
This isn't even really something we talked about off air, but I was like, oh, I know how I'm going to open this show.
We're fine. Everything's fine. This is fine.
I don't think we could even talk about it.
No one should ever talk about it.
And nobody wants to hear us talk about it, and that's fine.
Tenacious D is no longer a thing because of talking about it.
I do have opinions specifically about that.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know how much of a hot take that my opinion is, so I don't know if I should go into it or
I
not.
think that nobody should be in trouble for talking about anything too soon because nothing's too soon anymore. There's a meme for everything 3 seconds after it happens. We just need to accept that.
Well, I think it's pretty clear one of those two guys is more concerned about his status as a celebrity than his friendship with a guy that he's been doing this project with for like 30 years.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
That's my thought too. I mean,
wow. Yeah, man. First off, it's what Kyle, right? What he said. I mean, maybe don't just drop that on stage. It was clearly like top of mind. Like it just flew out of his head, right? Maybe if he'd had taken a second to think about it longer, he'd be like, maybe I shouldn't say this on stage in front of a lot of people who are probably recording this.
Right.
But
he's also like apologized, like an actual apology, not like one of those political apologies. Like I'm sorry that I offended people. Not that kind of apology. Like he owned up to it. He's like, yeah, that was awful. I did not think that was not good. I mean, that's like a real apology, like owning the behavior, like, I mean, granted, like everything bad that could happen to him has happened to him now as a result of it. Like he's lost his representation. He's lost his front man, or I mean, his partner at least.
Right.
Meanwhile, that guy is going to go on to just continue making movies and music on his own.
Jack Black's like, I got Nintendo money to worry about. I got whatever else to worry about. And that kind of sucks. By the way, I don't know that Brandon's listening, but if you are Brandon, we're just not political. We're not getting political. No. We're talking about entertainment figures.
Yes.
Arguably, you could still like dive deep into politics while still talking about entertainment figures, but still.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about Taylor Swift now. Yeah.
Anyway, so here's what's on the agenda. It totally derailed the normal way I open the show. The main thing we'll talk about tonight is The Boys season finale. I don't know. We'll give you a heads up before we dive into spoilers. I kind of feel like we almost have to. Otherwise, I don't know what else we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But I didn't even realize it was the season finale till like yesterday.
Nope, I didn't either until I was like, isn't that the name of the episode?
Is it? I didn't even know.
I don't even know if it has a name. I think it's just like season finale. I was like, oh, well, that's one way to let me know.
No, it has a name.
Oh.
It was just an unfortunate name for the past week's events. So
oh yeah, it was about assassination. You're right. It did
yes,
have it.
it was.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, the disclaimer makes a lot of sense. I was like, this is The Boys. Are you kidding me? You waited until the last. Oh.
So I watched the trailer for the next Marvel Avengers movie, or not Avengers, Captain America movie, and I think the trailer dropped like the day before, if not like earlier that day. I don't know. It dropped just before, right? I didn't watch it till after the big news from this weekend, and I was like, oh, that trailer has an attempted presidential assassination in it. Holy crap. I bet if they hadn't happened to drop that just before, they might have trimmed that trailer down a little bit if it was after.
Changed it. Yeah, just adjust it.
Not like it hits as like, I haven't heard anybody talking about that, but it's just the thing of like, who, you know, they would have, if nothing else, just cut that little scene out of the trailer had it been a day or two later.
Right.
But whatever. It's definitely not as unfortunate as of timing as, what was it? Famously, that Spider-Man. They produced like, I don't even think it was a scene from the movie. Like they produced a special Spider-Man trailer with the towers in it, and it was supposed to air, and then 9/11 happened. They're like, we're not using any of this. So, you know, it could have been worse in all kinds of ways. But first, we're also going to talk about a couple movies that we've seen and some other stuff we watched. But first, how are you two doing?
Doing all right.
I'm pretty good.
Good. Well, I guess let's just dive into it. Wait, as we always do. What have you been watching? What have you been consuming? Movies, TV, you been reading anything? What's going on?
I watched one of the episodes of Rick and Morty, season 7, because that's on Max now. So I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't seen. I've only seen the one episode. You know, and because it was free, and then I kind of fell off, and now the whole thing's on Max. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch another one. And so like the second episode is pretty funny. Like, boy, oh boy, what was it? So the second episode, like, Jerry and Rick, they don't switch bodies, but they like get scrambled. So they're like both Rick and both Jerry. Like there's like,
okay,
just one of them's in the Rick body and one's in the Jerry body, but they're an amalgamation of the two. And so like, Jerry's smarter than normal and Rick is more chill than normal. And then they become like best friends, and and there's this whole thing, and then like they even become like this human centipede Rick Jerry thing.
Okay.
It's just bizarre, but it's funny because when they're like arguing, the Jerry's like, quit making that awful impression of me. You know, because of the season with the not Justin Roiland actors.
Right,
so
right.
Like,
that's
okay,
pretty good.
that's pretty fun meta. Just real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm behind on Rick and Morty just because I don't think it's not on any of the services we currently have.
Right.
Which reminds me a little bit of news, I guess. Netflix is dropping their lowest ad-free tier, which I think was like an $11 a month tier or whatever. But they've done it in other countries, but it's coming to, I think, the Philippines and U.S. as well. They're confirmed they're going to drop it. So if you want ad-free on Netflix, you have to have the like $15.49 or higher tiers. Yeah.
Boo.
Netflix with ads sounds so terrible to me.
Yeah, I've never had.
So
There's never been ads, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess if it's cheap, you don't mind ads.
Right.
I remember years ago saying like Netflix, I mean, within reason, I'll happily pay for Netflix, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, forever.
Man. Man, what a...
It's getting harder to say that.
Yeah, especially
really
when
tricky.
half the crap they have that I like doesn't last a season, past a season, half the shows.
Right.
And I do miss when they had movies that were older than like 2-3 years. I will search Netflix first and then end up on Tubi. If I'm like, I want to watch something older, I want to watch something classic, or just some 80s trash. Netflix got nothing. Anyway.
Yeah, actually, HBO has more of that.
Right. I don't have Max right now, but they did have a better selection for classic movies, and I don't know if they still do, but they had a ton of great samurai movies. For a while, they had a lot of the Criterion collection. I'm not sure if they still do, but yeah, they do have a good selection of older movies. What are you gonna do?
When I miss the old Netflix originals, like for a while there, they were just putting out bangers, like
right.
Stranger Things and whatnot. Besides Stranger Things and Cobra Kai, I don't know really what they have that I'm looking forward to. They've really fallen off there.
There's a couple things. The Sandman. I'm looking forward to whenever that comes back.
That's a good point.
The problem is, unless it's something like Sandman, which was a big hit, or one of their certified bangers, Stranger Things, like you can't really guarantee it's right. happening. Blue Eye Samurai, I'm super excited for. There will be another season of that, but I don't know when. That's probably going to be ages. That's the other thing is like, it's so long between seasons now, and most shows are only going to, like The Boys, are only going to drop 8 episodes on you. And I get that it's expensive to produce high quality TV, but man, it kind of sucks.
Yeah. Well, there's Vikings Valhalla just released another season. I thought this show was canceled. I just assumed we were only getting one season because that's the kind of show they would drop after a season. It was like, oh, we're getting another season. Huh.
It does make it hard to get invested in a new show. Like there are a couple shows even there that I'll look and be like, and I know this is like, well, that doesn't help. It's like the comic book thing of like trade waiting, right? Where it's like, well, that doesn't help a series. You're not going to get multiple volumes if the comic is canceled before, because nobody's picking up the month-to-month issues. But there's shows I'll pass on where I'm like, that looks interesting. That does not look like a show that that's gonna survive past one season. So I don't know if I want to get invested, unless it's like a one and done season. Yeah.
The Boys better come back because the way it ended is not satisfactory to me at all.
Oh, they got Amazon money. That's coming back.
I think Amazon seems a little bit better about it, but also I think The Boys is still probably printing money for them.
Oh yeah. It sounds like I don't know if you guys watched the inside the episode thing they did at the end. It sounds like we're going to get a season of Gen V.
Before we're getting another season of that?
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to get another season of Gen V. So we'll see a little bit more of how this ended in the world that it's setting up through that before we get back to it with The Boys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm okay with that. I liked Gen V. It's got a very similar vibe. Obviously, not the same characters necessarily, but I was a little surprised. I mean, it played into this season plot-wise, especially with the virus, because that kind of came from that first season of Gen V, but I'm a little surprised at how little it kind of played into it. But I guess it kind of makes sense where Gen V was left off. Those two characters that do pop up were from Gen V. We've seen them in like 2 episodes maybe this season of but like there's not really, they're not even, if you didn't watch Gen V, I don't think they're ever even explained in The Boys at all who these people are.
No, they're not. Like, there's a part where I don't remember the girl's name, but the one chick goes up and whispers in Frenchie's ear.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
he just
yeah.
starts walking. Nobody
Yeah,
who hasn't seen it knows her power.
I just assumed it was basically like that one gal from Umbrella Academy, where it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I heard a rumor.
Yeah.
And it basically,
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly, you're right. That's exactly what it is.
Well, she has more. It's more than just that, but that's the main part of it. Yeah.
Right. But you know, it's The Boys or Gen V, and that power gets used in some pretty messed up ways in Gen V.
Oh, sure.
As you might imagine.
Or Purple Man, I suppose, is maybe another.
Oh, right,
example.
right.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because it's also a little bit more grounded than I feel like both. Because I feel like I heard a rumor sometimes verges on like not reality altering, but changing things or enforcing things in such a way where you're like, that seems kind of implausible. And the Purple Man was, I don't know, his is maybe more grounded, although he seemed very kind of supernatural in a way. But hers and Gen V is very much, at least the way she uses it for the most part, is like, yeah, it affects the person she talks to. Like they basically have no will at that point. But
yeah, and anyway. It'll change their memories and stuff.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Dang.
Yeah.
But outside of them, like it's not necessarily altering anything. Anyway, what were we talking about before all that? Oh, TV shows on Netflix and stuff like that. Umbrella Academy is coming back for its final season. They dropped a trailer finally.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Umbrella Academy is good. Melanie loves it.
I love it. I love mostly the one character, and I am amazed he still doesn't seem like he's aged. I don't know how they do it. It's amazing.
Right.
Yeah, he's the best character ever, and his power is super cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there's some anime stuff. I don't know that it's Netflix exclusive, but I was looking into Doro, and that's on Netflix, I think. So anyway, waiting on a season for that.
I need to check out Delicious in Dungeon or whatever it's called. Like I've heard that one's really good.
I haven't watched it, but it pops up at me all the time. Yeah.
Sure.
Melanie and I went and did a double feature at the movie theaters. Not like an official double feature. We just went and bought, the tickets for some shows, and we timed it pretty well, actually. We timed it really well, I think.
We did.
But sorry.
We had time for a bathroom break in between, which is really all you need.
Yep.
Yeah.
We went and watched Maxxxine, which is the third in the X and Pearl trilogy, the Ty West trilogy that started with X. And then we went and seen Longlegs, which is, Nick Cage in Longlegs.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
And it's horror too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like me some
they both
Nick
are.
Cage horror.
Dude. Unhinged. Fully unhinged. Yes. Nick Cage. And it's so interesting because Nick Cage works well in artsy horror, even if you let him just go full Nick Cage. And at least for me, I find it so weird because Longlegs has such a very kind of dark and heavy atmosphere, really.
Mm-hmm.
And the main character you follow is so stoic, and she just hardly talks. She's just kind of awkward. So it's so odd to me then that when Nick Cage does appear in the movie, and he does several times, he's so over the top, screaming, singing. He's just so over the top that it makes me laugh. I'm like, is that right? Is that appropriate for like the tone? Otherwise, it seems so counter to the movie, but I think it still works.
It's because
like go ahead.
So much of there's so much tension from the get-go. Like the whole movie is just so thick with tension. And his little craziness adds like a little bit of release here and there, I think.
That's a good point. And it does go disturbing in points, and he's creepy, but man, he's also just constantly over the top in it. But I don't think it. I think it's a good thing in this.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I liked Longlegs a lot. It's very Silence of the Lambs, and the writer director guy has not been shy about saying like, yeah, he started at Silence of the Lambs and then just kind of explored ideas, whatever. But for me, it seemed like Silence of the Lambs mixed with the like less campy, Nicolas Cage aside, less campy, darker elements of Twin Peaks. Had a little bit of that vibe going. I wouldn't say quirky, but like kind of surreal in a way. And it takes place in the 90s. There's flashbacks to the 70s, so it's a period piece. So it just really kind of female FBI agent. I don't want to say too much about it because I feel like if anything, the marketing, and it's one movie that people have been talking almost more about the marketing than the movie. The marketing's been good, I feel, about not really saying too much about it. So, between the two, I know Melanie was more excited for Longlegs. I don't know if it held up to your excitement or not.
It was good. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but I don't really know what I was expecting, to be honest. So, it's fine. It was okay. I kind of feel like there's some elements of it that I'm not really into, and it leaned hard into that, and that just leaves me feeling like unfulfilled, I think.
Yeah, I think it's solid, and I kind of feel like if you liked it enough to give it another... The take I've been seeing like on social media a lot is people liked it okay, but felt it was really overhyped. And again, that's, I guess, good marketing, although you don't want to overhype a movie. But the feeling I've been getting is people either liked it okay or didn't really care for it, but it sticks with them and they think about it later and then post about it on social media. But I feel like maybe it'll hold up better on a second viewing. But yeah, I thought it was good if you don't have too much hype built up for it or expectations, because it is odd. It does go in a way, and I think it's intentional, where it makes you think it's one thing and then it goes this other way. And yeah, it's unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's mix it up. Jesse, I know you. What else you got?
Well, speaking of unexpected, I finished Sweet Tooth. That is not unexpected. What is unexpected is how it ended. Like, it just kind of, like, I don't know. Holly and I were just like, our suspension of disbelief just crumbled in the last episode. And it was like, maybe even the last two episodes. And it was just like, it felt like the editing was off. There was like things where it's like, that doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense how that happened. Like that's not how that works, kind of thing. And this is a show where, like, you've got to suspend your disbelief, but like, it's not even, it felt like there were times where it wasn't even playing within its own rules, or it's just like, really? This is it's like a giant pair of antlers in a cave, or, like some just stuff that was like it was a cool visual, but it was just a weird idea. And so in the end, they leave it in a weird way where it's like there's some fun little reveals at the very, very, very end. Um, but they leave it in a way where you're kind of left guessing on whether or not some of this stuff happened, or if it's just part of the storyteller telling us the story.
Oh,
and it's like,
interesting.
okay, I don't know if I like it or not. Like it's fine, but it's a little weird. And just I don't know. It's not new to the series, but like the kind of magical quality of like it's the entirety of the North American hemisphere or whatever, which is just North America basically. But these two characters are definitely going to find each other, and it's not at all weird that would happen,
Right.
In an area as big as like Canada or Alaska. It's like,
right.
I mean, granted, in Alaska, it's like it's more of a destination thing where it's like, okay, well, there's not a lot of places, so either you found it or you didn't, but you were going there, like you were looking for this thing, you were looking for this outpost, you were looking for this cave, whatever. There's only a handful of things you're actually looking for. Otherwise, it's wide open spaces. But it's just, there were times where it's like, really, all of this just kind of magically came together in a way that just got to be like a little bit much. So, but they had to wrap it up because this was the final season. So.
Right. I had always planned to pick it up again. Do you recommend it? That does sound maybe a little disappointing.
The very end was disappointing, but like I would say the season itself was at least the first half. I was just like, oh dang, they went there with this kid. Like this guy's a kid. He's just a kid, and he's got to deal with this, and now he's got to deal with that. And like. The hits keep coming with what they do, and the fact that it is crazy dark for what seems to be like a Harry Potter movie.
Right. Sure, yeah.
So I don't know. Okay. I wouldn't say don't watch it, but I would say just adjust your expectation for the finale, because the finale left me wanting maybe.
But yeah, that's a bummer.
I don't know if you said it intentionally, but it sounded like you said Fun Alley instead of finale.
Oh, well, I suppose if there are fun alleys in Alaska.
Probably, one or two.
Brandon says, edgy Grawlix, I love it. I'm not sure at what point in the show he's hearing right now, but anyway. So Maxxxine, I wanted to mention Maxxxine then also, since we've seen that. The most likely final movie in the trilogy. Well, it's definitely the final movie of the trilogy, but in the franchise, although who knows? I guess it depends how well it does. I know Ty West has said he's got weird ideas that he could run with if at some point if people wanted, but. I liked it. So far, Pearl has been my favorite of the three. I liked X. X is like the 70s slasher movie, and I liked it fine. I mean, I think it's better than most generic horror movies. The style was good, but I wasn't crazy about it. Pearl is, I don't know, what is that? 50s, 40s, 50s? Weird Technicolor character study about this, this psychotic woman. That one I liked a lot because I don't know, it felt kind of fresh. It was like, even though it's still also kind of an homage, it's like kind of doing its own thing, as opposed to like, this is a 70s slasher movie, this is an 80s, I don't know, I guess technically slasher, but like giallo thriller, I guess, is what Maxxxine is. But yeah, Maxxxine is the 80s kind of slasher movie. and the more direct sequel, like Pearl, is like a prequel to X, whereas Maxxxine follows the main character of X specifically. Maxxxine, of course. And I liked it. It's not mind blowing, but I'd put it above X just because I like the setting more. The 80s. It's 80s LA. 80s LA. Kind of trashy 80s Hollywood. And I dig that. I like that setting.
Put a banana in the tailpipe.
Right. Somewhere, I was gonna say
Axel Foley. No, that's
I was gonna say Nick Foley. Nick Foley's not right.
Nick Foley's Foley. Off the cage. By Nick God, Foley. I think he died.
Yeah. And also there's fun nods to like movies in general in it, since they're in LA. They're on the like Psycho, the Bates Motel, Bates house set at one point, like stuff like that. I dig that because I'm a movie nerd. I'm curious as to what Melanie thought of it.
I thought it was okay. It was pretty much exactly what I thought it was gonna be. I even guessed the big bad at the very beginning, because I could have guessed. Actually, I guessed it from when they said they were making a sequel. But they still did it. It was done pretty well. I know Randall and I had a discussion about, there were some cops in the movie, and they were really bad at their job, but they did assist her sort of in the end. And we were talking about, I'm not giving away everything. I'm just saying anyway. They assisted her sort of in the end. They were both going after the same persons or something. So a big part of the first one was that she saved herself, and we were discussing whether that still applied in this one because she got some assistance. But I think it. But
I was gonna say, just listener, viewer, despite what Melanie says, that is a slight spoiler. Sorry, she doesn't understand spoilers at all. But you're right. And I had heard maybe a slight spoiler, but not even as specific as what we were just saying. That the end was kind of problematic in that way, because it wasn't just her saving herself. There was assistance. Whereas in X, it was all her for the most part, So it didn't necessarily rob her agency, but it's, I don't know. Maybe that's the point though. Maybe iWest is like expecting people are going to be like, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to buck at least that much expectation, because the big bad was kind of was definitely predictable, but
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. You had more to say?
They did kind of a misdirect sort of too with the serial killers and all kinds of different rich people and strange things and whatever. But that's part of the 80s too, I think. The weird, like, or maybe it still is, I don't know, because you're starting with people that are like strippers and porn stars and stuff, and then the evils of money kind of luring them into bad places and dangerous situations, which I like that. I like that's part of it, because I think that's an important thing to think about sometimes. But I don't think it necessarily even really has to be there for the point to get across.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of, I think from Ty West's perspective, X was 70s, there's certain kind of look in the film, slasher movies, porn, because the porn industry kind of blew up during the 70s and became somewhat mainstream in a weird way that it's not now, like there were pornographic movies that legit made some box office and became well known and were talked about in the mainstream, which is really weird to think about. So that was definitely like major themes in X. And then this one was like the sleazy Hollywood, obviously. 80s sleazy Hollywood, but also the 80s kind of like almost sexploitation slasher movies. And I say giallo movies because like it's got the Italian slasher proto slasher style where the killer, you don't see their face, and it's got the gloves and the leather coat. There's not a ton. I feel like there's maybe not as much gore as in X, but when there's gore, there's only a few scenes of it. It's hardcore. there's some heavy gore in this.
Yeah.
You're saying it was all X-rated.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's Maxxxine with 3 X's. There's triple X. Actually, in that respect, in terms of like sexual content, this one was actually lighter on it than X.
And maybe Pearl too. Actually, I think this one had the least sex in it.
You're right. It depends how you feel about. Oh no, there was actual like sex scene in that too, and like it touched on porn as well. But of course, I want to go to the scarecrow scene. Depends how you feel about feeling up a scarecrow. Anyway, that's all I got to say about it. I liked it. Both movies were good. There's a lot of hype on both of them that maybe it doesn't necessarily do either of them favors. I'm talking about Longlegs again, of course, with general audiences, but I don't know. If you know what to expect going in, I don't think you'll necessarily be too disappointed.
No.
Anyway, I love the look of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the look of it, by the way. I noticed it wasn't consistent, but there's a lot of scenes where, especially during the day, where you could tell it's almost like a VHS effect they'll do, but it wasn't super heavy, where there's a slight like color aberration, usually like a blue and red or something on the edges of things. I don't know. There's just, it looked very good. It was a good looking film.
Yep.
Jesse, was there anything else you consumed?
Cobra Kai is back. It's back.
Right.
Karate is back in the valley.
Sorry, I don't know why that struck me.
No, so this is season 6, part 1. And so I think I can't remember how many episodes, maybe 5, right? And so I basically watched like the first 2. And it just picks right up after the last season. I mean, not like instantaneously, but like, we just dust it all off and go back to Miyagi-Do, And very first episode, they've got to get into a fight about what are we going to call it, since we got 3 senseis, we got to figure out what to name it. We got the eagle thing, we got Miyagi-Do, and we even get this moment with Stingray, which was pretty fun.
So I fully intend. That's another show I fell off of. I think between seasons, and I fully intend to pick it back up because I enjoyed it. But so are they just adding like consolidating and adding another sensei every season? They're just like
pretty close.
This is the final one because frankly, we're gonna have a class full
everybody's
of
here. Everybody's here. I mean, like really, there's not a whole. There are still some Karate Kid Easter eggs that you could sprinkle in, but we're running out. We brought pretty much everybody back that's still alive.
This is the last season, though, right?
Yeah, this is the last season.
Yeah.
Which is why they're like breaking it up into chunks. So it's season 6 part 1, season 6 part 2, and then like the season 6 finale will be its own thing, and it'll be like extra long, and then the movie. And I don't know what the movie is. I don't know if the movie's connected. I don't know if the movie's a continuation. I don't know.
I am not complaining, but I got to be honest. I was blown away by it because I was like, wow, back when it was on YouTube, remember? It was a YouTube original series when YouTube was like, let's make shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is way better than it should be. I would not have anticipated it going to almost Community levels of like 6 seasons in a movie, like It's good.
Yeah,
Good. I'm
yeah.
glad it stuck around. I'm impressed.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not far enough in it to say how great the season is or this half of it or whatever, but it's on par. It continues what we expect, kind of thing, and it's probably good. This is the last season. I mean, I don't know where you can go beyond the world. I mean, who knows? Who knows if they'll? Who knows if they will win or not? You know, I mean, like winning it all is something, but also, you know, it's on brand with the Karate Kid. So,
Hilary Swank showed up.
not yet. But
is
again,
that one of the
if
few
she's
that
going
haven't?
to? That's one of the few that hasn't happened. Yeah. But I mean, they're going global now, so who knows? Who knows? And they're gonna find something in the Miyagi-Do house that's hidden, and so I wonder if this is how we're gonna get the, you know, if we're gonna get the tie-in to Hilary Swank is, you know, his side adventures or whatever, and
Right.
and the monks. I don't know. I have no idea. No idea.
What about the remake or the reboot of the attempt to?
Well, that's going to
Are
tie
they-
into the actual movie. Is
Okay.
that
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what this movie is, but it's got Jackie Chan and it's got Ralph Macchio, and it's called The Karate Kid. Yeah, I don't know. So that's what I mean. I
What
don't know
is
if it's a
that gonna be?
continuation of Cobra Kai. I don't know if it's on its own. If it's some other
Was Jackie
side
Chan's
universe.
character supposed to be the same guy, or was he like? I thought that he was recast, but no, maybe was he like a different guy?
His name was not Miyagi.
Okay,
He didn't even teach karate. As like, it's a total misnomer.
Right. Okay. Well,
It's
yeah,
the Karate Kid in name only.
Yeah, because it's not even the right
Yeah.
country.
No, wrong country, wrong style.
Yeah.
Only the themes were the same: bullying and whatnot.
Yeah.
Bullying and fighting to solve your problems.
Maybe the remake was good, or whatever that was good. I never watched it, but
Oh,
what a jerky!
they just about
American
killed that
thing.
kid. That was not bullying. That was attempted murder.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wow.
What a jerky American thing to do to remake the Karate Kid. Like, who can we get? How about Jackie Chan?
Right.
There's a problem there.
It's a
But
very
whatever.
Will Smith move.
Right. Okay. Maybe this weekend. I don't know. I'm gonna jump back into it. I fell out of it too much.
Oh, I can't wait for you to get to season 5, because that's the Terry Silver season, and Terry Silver is Terry Silver. Did you even
I don't
watch
remember-
Karate Kid 3? You probably didn't even watch Karate Kid 3 because not many did. You
don't
won't. You
recall.
don't need it. You don't need it to enjoy it because all the flashbacks are throughout, just like it has been since day one.
Right.
But
Which one was 3?
yeah, that's what
Did
most
they-
people ask.
Right,
Most people didn't
right.
watch 3. Well, he comes back from Japan or Okinawa, and they're basically like, hey, you, since you were the All Valley champion, you just get to defend your title or something. And so they're just like trying to get him to come back, kind of thing. And he's like, I could do this. And Miyagi's like, last time you fought for your honor, and because these guys were bullies, now you just want to fight for a trophy. No, I'm not down with that. And then Daniel starts like there's other things that occur along the way, but basically Terry Silver is there as John Kreese's friend to help him get revenge against Miyagi and Daniel. And so he sets up this whole thing.
Yeah. I think I do remember watching that. I don't remember it much, but I remember it a little bit. So I think I
Definitely
watched it
not
at
the
least
best of the 3.
Yeah.
Definitely diminishing quality as the series went on. As a kid, I loved 2 because I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
And you want one of those little like bing 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 dolls.
Oh yeah, you got to have the drum.
Yeah. But yeah, but I'm gonna guess the first one probably holds up.
The first one still holds up pretty good. You know, it's iconic. It's the classic. Watching 2 as an adult, it's like it's still pretty good, but doesn't hold up as well as I remember. I remember it being an instant classic. I remember it being almost better than the first one. It's not.
Yeah.
Karate Kid was one of those movies. It's kind of like the 80s, like John Hughes movies, where if it weren't, I wouldn't be as familiar with it if it weren't for the Super Saturday and Super Sunday like movies every weekend on Fox or whatever broadcast channel. You know, the Karate Kid was one of them that was in heavy rotation, and I don't recall if the sequels ever got thrown into that heavy rotation or not.
Yeah, I don't think. Probably. It's definitely not 3. You know.
I still sometimes want to dress up as a Char for Halloween though because of that movie. That was a great costume.
Well, and the skeletons were awesome. That's a great costume.
Okay. Are we ready? We're only 45 minutes into.
I think we're ready because I don't got anything else.
Hour-long episode. The Boys. Season 4, episode 8. Is it season 4? Yeah.
Yep.
This is a weird season overall. Not bad, but something about it does feel off and different. I think we talked about it last week or whenever we talked about The Boys last, about how, I don't know, it seems slightly less cohesive or smaller in scope, even though theoretically it's larger in scope. Because the
impact is larger in scope, but like it's more focused in on the people and less on big action things, even though there's plenty of big action things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it's less their interaction with the rest of the world and just with each other, you know?
Right.
You're
right. A lot of things happening at Vought, a lot of things happening with the boys specifically.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of little side stories with characters where in some cases, like Butcher, they're literally off by themselves having little side plots, you know, with characters, of course, still. But, I mean, if you break it, if you go back and revisit the season knowing that Negan, for one, doesn't actually exist, most of Butcher's scenes are just him by himself, you know?
Yeah.
And occasionally interacting with like
they
Ryan
just
or somebody.
They continue with this like you guys probably didn't watch Supernatural, but like they love their Supernatural Easter eggs in this show.
Oh, really?
You know, because Negan is also the dad of Sam and Dean in the show. The Winchester boys in Supernatural. Negan is the dad. So why am I blanking on his name? I've said it 1,000 times. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
His actual name?
Yeah. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He plays the dad. And so we get all sorts of stuff. And Robert Singer is actually an executive producer for Supernatural.
Okay.
And that's the name of the character that President Robert Singer plays, a character named Bobby Singer. Bobby in Supernatural, and he plays the same named character in this as a presidential candidate.
Interesting.
And in this episode specifically, they got him saying his key catchphrases, which is like "idjit." He calls somebody an "idjit." That's specifically what his Bobby character did in Supernatural. And then he said "balls" a couple of times, which is also a key catchphrase. So there was all sorts of Easter eggs in this for Supernatural. This episode specifically, but like throughout the season. And they've got a whole bunch of Supernatural holdovers. I mean, Jensen Ackles, that's what he's known for. That in Smallville. He's not known for Smallville. He's known for Supernatural, but you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. Supernatural is just one of those. I just never. It's not like I tried to get into it and then just couldn't. I just never got into it. I don't know. It just like eluded me, I guess.
It's a weird show, but like, I mean, there's episodes I think you'd like. I mean,
it
the
ran
particularly
so long.
scary ones. Oh yeah, you got 15 years to choose from. You're bound to have
it's
some
one of those
bangers
shows where once in a while I don't know, tune into CW or just see an ad and be like, that show's still going? How is that show still? But I didn't know if it was good. I just never watched it. So yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, it's a CW show. You had to really want to watch it. Otherwise, you're just like, it's a CW show.
Listen,
but
I loved Buffy, but it still took years before I actually finally finished the series and then even touched Angel. So,
When Supernatural's the only, I think it's the only one that survived the WB CW crossover. That's how long it was on. It was a WB show and then just continued to be a CW show.
This is further off topic real quick, and I don't have a lot to say because I don't know a ton about it, but CW was apparently kind of going under, sold off to another company, which probably isn't the first time, but now they focus a lot on sports and have very little scripted content.
They were looking at buying wrestling shows for a minute. Yeah.
They're focused on. I watched a YouTube video about it. It is not quite a video essay video, but kind of like that, where the guys just talking about it and analyzing it and stuff. And I was just like, weird. I had no clue. It's been so long. Last I knew, I was like, is the CW Seed app still a thing or whatever? With the ad.
Seed. Oh my God, yeah.
What was the ad?
It's a long story.
That's it.
It's a long story.
That's that's the last real thing of CW after I fell off the Flash and stuff that I was aware of. So, that's all gone. So
man, and they played that same. I mean, now Hulu has that trick where they're just like, let's play the same commercial over and over and over.
What was I watching? Was it just YouTube or maybe it was some show on Tubi? Twisters, man. They hit us with the same preview commercial for Twisters over and every ad break over and over. And it's like,
yeah, I can see
stop
that.
it. I'm not going to go see it. I didn't like the first one. I'm not going to see this one. Anyway, the first one got my money when I went to see it in the theaters. The second one ain't going to do it.
Right. And that's the kind of movie you only really want to see in theaters.
Right.
Because
I get the appeal of it, but I just assume it's going to be like the first one in that it is just a little too cheesy, a little too fun, Hollywood blockbuster-y type thing. And, no, I don't need that. It's fine. We live in the Midwest. We don't need it. We're fine.
Yeah, we got real ones. Weird flex, but okay.
To see Twister in a drive-in might be worth it. It might be worth it, but only if there's
that movie. It's got that horror movie effect to it. It's like you're brazen enough to watch a tornado movie outside.
Yep. Yeah, I want to watch a tornado tear up a drive-in while I'm in a drive-in.
Right.
Anyway, The Boys. What were we talking about? Oh,
that's a good question.
Do we want to do? We're getting towards the end of the show anyway. Do we want to do spoilers on The Boys? Give a spoiler warning.
Yeah, because I think the most interesting thing about this episode really is how it ends.
Yeah, I'm not really yeah.
And certain people that, get taken out and stuff.
Yeah, where it leaves certain characters, including characters where I otherwise would have been like, I don't care. Leaves certain characters in interesting places. And it definitely does the thing of At one point, I was like, okay, they're kind of setting the stage for the next season, but then it does a little double twist on you, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, they're still setting the stage for the next season, but the stage is a lot more depressing than what I thought it was going to be. Okay, spoilers. And considering the show just like aired, I don't know, just hit streaming like last night or today, you know, it's very rare that we have to like give a spoiler warning for things that are actually super current.
Yeah, well, but like, yeah, it dropped today, and we watched it today. So
if you haven't got a chance to see the season finale of The Boys yet, I don't want to spoil it for you, but we are going to spoil it.
Yeah,
I hate to tell you to turn it off, but I see how many people are watching the live stream. Oh no, there's one. So if you're listening on Helix Rock Radio, maybe just turn the radio down for a little bit. You don't have to change the station.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was super surprised. Okay, first, Ashley. The Ashleys. Ashley.
The Ashleys,
They gave, who knows what it's going to be, but she shot herself up with some V. So they gave her superpowers because they were coming to kill her.
Right.
And I am
not
weirdly
just her,
invested.
like everybody.
Oh, man. That was such a weird... It's kind of like Homelander just got to the point where he's like, okay, yep. Let's just go full bore. Give me a name of everybody in the company who could compromise us. We're gonna kill all of them. And they're like, that'd be like half the people. And it's like, yeah, let's do it.
You do not leave a picture of Billy Butcher in your backpack.
Oh no.
You just don't, okay? You're not gonna have an apartment anymore. You're yeah. It's bad.
That and his collection of grays, we'll say, had added up quite a bit. He was in Homelander was in a real bad mood, but that picture of Billy Butcher really kind of set it off.
Yeah,
because he outed Newman as a soup on live TV. Mm-hmm. Also, she can take a Homelander blast.
Yeah,
weird, but we've already had that discussion with her, like sudden invulnerability. Kind of.
And
to certain things.
I thought that she was so she can't head popper him.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I know he's Homelander, but like, there's got to be a way, right? And
I thought she could head pop anyone. I thought she was like one of the most powerful ones.
Right.
I don't know.
They have.
She should have head popped him before. Like, she knew he was about to say it. She should have head popped him there.
Right, agree.
And just be like, oh my God, it's the head popper's back. Whoa. Because they hadn't figured her out yet.
No.
Yeah.
And if anybody had a power that would have been able to get to Homelander, I would have assumed maybe it would be her. Since her stuff works inside,
Right.
And then, spoilers for her, she doesn't end well. And
no.
It was in a moment where I'm like, this is taking long enough. Why don't you just head pop her? Why don't you just use your actual power?
Yeah. She didn't use her power then. She didn't use her power with him. She can survive a heat ray blast, but not getting pulled by some tentacles. Right. The logic is strange.
Yeah.
That's plot armor.
And I'm surprised her daughter didn't freak out at that point either,
Yeah.
She
kind of just disappeared too. It was like
she got knocked unconscious or something.
Oh, is that what happened?
There was a shot where she got like knocked against some poles or a pillar or something by one of the tentacles. So they intentionally took her out of commission. As far as I know, though, the boys didn't take her with them, which is probably a good decision because she seemed dangerous. But that also means then I'm assuming they just left her there to wake up and find that mess, which is pretty horrific.
Yeah. And
she ended up going into like the home, the mutant kid
Red
home,
Rock
which is apparently.
Is that a Gen V thing, or is that?
No, that was where she grew up, where the mom grew up.
Oh, right.
I think it was touched. Yeah, I think it was touched on in The Boys, but I do think Gen V went into it more because one of the main characters from that was in there, but also the animated spinoff they did. At least one or two of those. I think one specifically. I think those focused on it a little bit too. So that was something that was a bit more fleshed out in the spinoffs.
Yeah, I guess so, because it was basically like an orphanage for Soups.
Oh, right. I remember them going there the one time and everybody being terrified because it's like, oh, these are children.
Yeah.
With superpowers and
right. It's usually the children that when they discover they have superpowers, it's by some horrible situation where where their families or a lot of people die and they end up going there. Gen V is still worth a revisit if you are wanting some boys fix between however long it's going to be before we get another season, and you haven't checked out Gen V. That's definitely worth a watch.
It auto played after the episode, and I almost just let it go. But I was like trying to do things too, and I was like, I've divided attention. No, I just need to watch this when I want to watch this.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as immediately hooky as because it's new characters, and the characters are okay. There's some of them I ended up liking quite a bit, but I don't feel like it has as immediate of a hook as The Boys did. The Boys just had one of those like first episodes that like hits you in the face. You're like,
he's got Legacy Quaid in there,
Yeah. It does. That guy's been popping up everywhere. What? Oh, we watched a movie with him in it. Did we talk about that last week?
I don't know.
What was it?
He's also on Star Trek. He's like one
Tragedy
of the main
Girls. We watched. I don't think we talked about it on the show. It's on Tubi, but it's like a dark comedy kind of take on the slashers. But he is like a major, not like the main character. There's two main characters, but he's a major character in it. And I was like, it's Huey. And also, I think most younger people would know him now from being the like main character in Five Nights at Freddy's. But it had Juice in it from Future Man, and so Juice. He doesn't have as big of a role. That was an entertaining movie. But anyway, point is, he was in it. He was also, I happened to watch an older episode of a Red Letter Media Best of the Worst, and he was a guest on there. I was like, that guy is everywhere all of a sudden.
Wow.
Anyway.
But Huey, and in this episode, Huey done messed up. I mean, sort of.
Yeah.
I like to mention the butt stuff.
Oh man, the shifter. She was interesting because she gets their memories too. It's not just like a Mystique thing where she just assumes their form. Like she has to like interact with them in order to recharge or whatever. But then she also gets their memories and is able to use like actual stuff that the person knows. It's like, oh my God. You really just proposed to Huey.
Yeah. That's a really good.
What a jerk move.
Such a good. Right.
Yeah.
That's such a good take on a shapeshifter too, because that makes them so much more dangerous and so much easier to like elude detection. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and her take on how everybody's so messed up. Like she was like, I always thought that I was a bad person, but then I realized everyone's a bad person.
Yeah. I enjoyed it, particularly that scene because I don't remember her name offhand. But Starlight actress got to like flex different muscles. Like, she's kind of good being evil. Like she could play a good villain. This is fun. It's just a good twist on her
totally different character,
Yeah.
In a convincing way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not the smoothest operator. I get she had this story of like their grandpa and all the war and the proposal, but like I felt like that should have been some major red flags.
That really should have been. It was like, what? Yeah. And then after the fact, it's like, oh, he totally pegged it way earlier. You know, like he caught on early. He just didn't accept it, you know. It's like, oh, I noticed when you found your keys right away.
Yeah.
It was like one of the first interactions.
Yeah, but how are you going to accuse your, like, you're not even you, you found your keys? You know, how ridiculous does that sound? You can't, you know, go off of that.
Well, and maybe a retrospect thing where he's like, had the thought, but then like, didn't really. I could kind of see that, but also she's like, how many times? He's like, not less than 20. She's like, I've been gone 10 days, so he's also a bit distracted.
Yeah, wow.
Which maybe that's not unusual for their relationship, but I feel like that would probably be another red flag.
Yeah. Especially with all the stress she's been under, you know, previous to that. It was just like, wow, 10 days.
That was kind of an annoyance of mine, was the powers. Like, I'm sure they have some, like, internal reasoning, like she was struggling with some emotional thing or whatever, so her powers were on the fritz. But it ended up feeling, given that she just, at the end, her powers are back, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Like, felt like they didn't want her to have her powers when she was locked up or something. Like, it was a writing decision to, like, work around a possible plot hole.
Yeah, because she is not under any less stress when her powers come back.
No, they're on the run. They're literally on the run from
running for
everyone.
Their lives.
Yeah. But I guess it's just so they could zoom her away at the end. They give her powers back.
Yeah, somebody's got to save the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Ryan, once again. Oh, sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, the decisions made in this episode were crappy in several times, but Ryan's is the most. How much freaking evidence do you need that your dad is a bad person? I mean, besides all the things that you've already seen and the way that he's treated you on many occasions, finding out that he raped your mom, I would think would be enough for me. I wouldn't need anything more. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's trying to play nicey with me and be my dad when that's how I came to be, you know? That would be enough for me. I don't understand why he still has such a problem with it. Or how he could kill that lady that he knew that was friends with his family for so long. I don't know. It bothered me.
And I'm sure he'll be messed up about it, but like his reaction to it was kind of weird. It was another tip of like,
maybe Homelander's actually gotten to him a little bit.
Yeah, he's tilting towards the bad side, the dark side.
Well, that's what set off, what's his name?
Oh yeah, that's what really made Butcher go full Negan.
Yeah.
And I get him being upset, but I don't know. Yeah, I think he maybe is. I think they're probably playing on him being. He doesn't want to leave the tower because, like, that's kind of the life. Other than having to deal with Homelander, you know, he's essentially, if not a god, the son of a god. There, like, everyone does what he says.
And really, all he ever wants to do when he hangs out with Butcher is play games. Right. Like, he doesn't really want Butcher to be a dad figure. He just wants to play games with somebody. He just wants a pal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Butcher. The hospital twist was good, where it wasn't necessarily a hospital situation.
Right.
But when he shows up at the end, he looked fine.
Yeah, he's juiced up on V, and so it's like, I guess we're just using V again, and all bets are off. But like, while the V is working, then he's fine.
Okay. Interesting.
But it's just going to kill him even faster.
He didn't get caught though, did he?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, he just. You don't know where he ended up. I don't think. No, he was driving away. He was driving away. Yeah, he didn't get caught, and he had his brain buddy in the backseat, looking at him.
Yeah, everybody got caught except for Starlight and Billy.
And as far as we know, Ashley.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we don't really know how that panned out. I mean, last we saw, she was still in the tower, the 7 tower or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super interested to see where they go next season. I don't know what they can do. And the fact that everybody's caught. If the bad guys were smart, they'd all just be dead now. Like,
right.
It's like, all right, take care of them or whatever. But that can't be the case because they're not going to do that with the show. But even slight spoilers for Gen V, like Gen V kind of come to a climax where it's like, oh, well, everyone should just be dead now. But they're not. They're either over here or locked up somewhere. And that's, I think, going to be the case with the boys. Like, we'll come back and they're all locked up somewhere, which doesn't really make sense, but.
And then we get the after credit scene of now Homelander's in charge of so much that he has access to all the secrets. And one of the secrets is Soldier Boy's not dead. Soldier Boy is just on ice.
Yep. Yeah, Homelander's pretty much like the new president is his puppet. Like, agreed. That's the kind of the agreement. And yeah. Interesting. Newman, I think, was an interesting character, and she did flip-flop a lot. And it still feels weird to me that they put so much emphasis on her and Huey's friendship when that season where that was established. I didn't necessarily get that they were such close friends.
And it was so fast. It was kind of like, I don't know, a little forced and not really earned, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think there was supposed to be a bunch of relationship that we weren't privy to because it happened in between seasons.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Okay. But yeah, I like the season. There was definitely some spectacle, of course, the farm animals on V and stuff, but it doesn't feel quite as memorable as some of the other seasons. You know, like the whale, for whatever reason, really sticks out, and the orgy party and all that other stuff.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sage just walking in like, "Hey, we did it."
Right.
Haven't seen you in a while, but we did it. Thanks, that was fun.
Yeah.
Homelander really, he's so dense. He's like, I threw you out. She's like, it's all part of the plan. Like, you can't know anything. You'd mess it up like you do.
Yeah.
And I like how she's like, how happy she was about it. She's like, yeah, it all worked.
What went on with the firecracker thing? Like, she looked like she was dying, and then at the end, she's doing a show, and she's fine.
Yeah.
I think. Well, yeah. I mean, initially I thought it was like, oh, did the virus get out somehow or something? I think it was really just setting up the medicine she was taking to make her lactate was making her super sick. She kept doing it, and maybe it was just to really drill home the fact that she's literally like kind of killing herself for Homelander, and he couldn't care less. In fact, he's disgusted by her, and they got that scene where he's like, no, sit over there. You're coughing all over me. It's disgusting. And she moves, and he's like, no, further. So I wonder if it's just setting up, like, drilling into her head that, like, you are not you will get nothing from trying to please Homelander.
Yeah.
And you're going to such extremes to do it. Like,
right.
So maybe that'll kind of turn her for next season.
Hopefully. I was thinking maybe it was kind of poisoning him too. I was hoping, making him weaker, because
like she's getting
yeah,
dosed with some type of virus, and he's drinking her milk. So, but yeah, I think it was
have
just
to wait and find out.
Yeah, making it very clear to her character that it's not worth what she's been doing.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
You know what else is amazing?
What?
The moon.
Oh.
And we've recently discovered, or confirmed, I should say, that there are lava tubes on the moon.
Don't we just call those volcanoes?
No, because it's not. Sorry, because it's not active. In the past, there were active volcanoes on the moon, and that's where the tubes were created. Was when lava would come up back then, and then it would recede, and the tubes are still there. They're basically just tunnels that go up to the surface. And
lava would be worth so much money.
Maybe it might be, but they're important because there's no atmosphere on the moon, which means that there's no protection against radiation or space debris like we have on our planet. So if we wanted to have a base there, we couldn't do it on the surface. We would have to be underground. And these lava tubes make like the perfect place to go and stay safe.
Like caves?
Yeah. It's like a cave system that's already there, and they're really big, and we would be able to build in them and stay safe from the radiation and whatever else might be falling onto the planet that on Earth would be deflected by our atmosphere. So they just used I think LiDAR, which is the laser system that they've been using like from space to map stuff here on Earth, and they used it there and then went through the data and discovered that the lava tubes do exist. They thought they did, but this proved it. So people are jazzed about that. So
I think you're muted, Jesse.
They lasered the moon to find lava.
Yep.
This is awesome.
Moon lava. I want to dip my nachos in moon lava because it's made of cheese. Lava tube sounds funny, but is this like a hollow moon theory?
No, it's not hollow. There might actually even be still some magma that in the center of the planet, but if there is, it's not much, and it's not gonna like explode out or anything like that.
Moon magma.
Yeah, but that's it's kind of a big deal because then we can build bases there, and it'll be easier to build and take off, especially off of the moon because there's no gravity or very little gravity really, as opposed to having to try to take off from Earth where we have to use a lot more energy and like therefore fuel and whatnot. So yeah, so it's a good discovery. We're happy about it.
I'm happy about it because it opens the door for all sorts of Doctor Who.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like I mean, that's just an episode of Doctor Who waiting to happen. The volcanoes.
Wait. They've already done it though. Remember, the moon is an egg, and it's going to hatch a full-size dragon.
Oh.
That's right.
And then that will leave the exact same size egg behind.
That's right.
And it'll be an allegory for abortion. So they've already done the moon. I'm not making it up. That's kind of what that episode was.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah. I don't even know if it was necessarily a good take on it or not, but
I don't remember that
was
one.
Kind of the debate.
I don't remember thinking I'm going to watch this one again.
Yeah.
What was that? Kill the Moon?
Kill the Moon? Is that what it was called? Oh my God.
I don't remember what it was.
That's a very Doctor Who name, though.
Yeah. Kill the Moon. Season 8, episode 7.
Let's kill Hitler. Kill the Moon. All the best Doctor Who episodes have "kill" in the title.
Yeah, you're right. That's a very Moffat-y thing. Oh, Chimnall might have been involved in that one too. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Melanie. That was amazing.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It was not the most interesting, I thought, but it was the only one that was positive, and I felt like we needed a little bit of that today.
Yeah. It was interesting, I thought.
Yeah,
and
just
lava
the
tubes is
concept of lava on the moon is fascinating.
Moon magma is fun.
Like
Caves
I think
on the moon is cool.
All sorts of science fiction fodder available just by virtue that that's real.
I think it's time for more moon sci-fi. We get too outlandish. We need to bring it home.
Reel it back in. Yeah. What are our neighbors doing? What neighbors, you might ask? Well, our moon hillbilly friends live inside of what used to be a volcano. Really, they just heat their beans, their can of beans, over a lava tube. It's a delightful way to spend your evenings.
Moonbeans?
Yeah, moonbeans. You've heard of them.
Hillbillies.
Catch a moonbean in a jar. You've heard that song.
Is that why they call it moonshine?
Yeah, that's it, it reflects from the sun.
It's happening.
It is moonshine. Yeah,
Oh, I love it. Moon hillbillies. That's a thing now.
Yeah, that's right.
I expect some artwork, maybe maybe a breakdown for a story.
There we go. Moonbillies. Yeah, it's just Moon Billy Jethro.
That's great.
All right. Well, hey, that's about it for this show. Jesse, got anything exciting you want to mention or anything coming up to talk about?
I'm going to go to a show tomorrow. It's going to be a tabletop gaming show. And
that's tomorrow, huh?
That's tomorrow. It's a 3-day show, so I'll be there all weekend. So if you're hearing this and you're local, come check it out. If you're not, and you like tabletop games, you can always find tabletop games over there at Humble Bundle. If you just go to grawlixpodcast.com/humble, you can find yourself some of that. You probably still find some comic books about the boys, I believe. Yeah. There's definitely some kind of manga, some kind of anime. I'm stuck in hillbilly mode. And you can also get all sorts of like game development packs. So check that out. Use our affiliate link. You can support charity. You can support us. We're kind of a charity case. So there you go.
Charity case.
Where's the con at?
I believe it's in the Millard Community Center. If there's a Millard Community Center.
And local for us is like Omaha, Nebraska area.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kind of a Westo kind of deal.
Right.
And it's going to be all like tabletop games. There's going to be a little bit of D&D, that kind of thing.
Right.
But there's also a vendor room. And so I'll be there. I'll be selling prints and those kinds of things. Eddie, who we've talked to, I believe they're live right now on the You Choose podcast. We've done a crossover with them. He's going to join me at some point during the weekend because he is working on his own card game called Sticks and Wizards, and I'm doing a little bit of artwork for that. So stop by. He's going to have his beta deck, which is basically a bunch of index cards, but you can play his game, help him develop it, and all sorts of stuff. So
sweet.
Play test that thing.
Yeah.
I might swing by with my niece and nephew because they kind of like that kind of stuff too.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's
it'll be all weekend, and you can do a day pass or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Hey, if you happen to be local in terms of Helix Rock Radio headquarters, where Brandon's at, you can hit up the Philadelphia. I guess that's not super local, but it's around there. Philadelphia Rock and Sell, which he says is basically a huge block party. It's some type of a festival thing. But he's going to be there for, I think, Friday and Saturday. Promoting, I should say, Helix Rock Radio stuff. So stickers, shirts, bottle caps. He's going to give some stuff away. Go say hi to Brandon. He runs Helix Rock Radio at rockradio.live. I actually have a link. He made a link. He smartly made like a Linktree link.
That is clever.
So that you can link to it from Facebook without Facebook detecting the link to the actual website and then poo-pooing it. Because I found I couldn't even link to some of my replays because I had the rockradio.live URL in the description. It wouldn't let me link that.
Wow.
So
I noticed that even your, was it Mixer or Mixcloud or something?
Mixcloud, yeah.
Yeah, Mixcloud.
Yeah, it was not wanting to even link to that anymore. And I was like, that's a streaming platform. It has nothing to do with the whatever. But yeah, go say hi to Brandon. He'll be there. I think he said 10 to 4, something like that. If you're in the Philadelphia area, Philly,
Motown Philly,
back again. What else? Oh, I have things happening tomorrow. First off, I'm going to be streaming, of course, as I always do every Friday on Helix Rock Radio, Edge of the Abyss. So if you like metal, maybe you fell out of metal and you're curious as to like what's new, because I always play like brand new stuff that dropped the day of the broadcast, new release Fridays. Check me out on Edge of the Abyss on Helix Rock Radio. The replay will go up later, so you can catch that elsewhere if you're not available. But it's the coolest if you listen live. What else?
It's the edgiest. Also, it's the edgiest of the abyssiest.
Yes, it is. I have a single coming out tomorrow that is not necessarily related to the album I have coming out in like a week and a half. But there's a compilation album coming out tomorrow. It's being released by Kid Light. I want to make sure I get his name right. I should. Like I did a Kid Light Bulbs. But he's releasing a compilation album called Threads on My Art or something. I should be more specific. Threads on My Art. And basically a bunch of indie musicians, such as myself, covered a bunch of his songs. And where we all connected on Threads, okay. So that's where the title come from. And so I'll have a cover I did of his song releasing on the compilation album tomorrow. And provided I get the video done in time, I will also be dropping a music video for the song on my Super Science YouTube channel. So new music tomorrow. It's a little bit different. I mean, it still sounds like Super Science. I can't get away from my sound, but that's kind of the point, right? But it is a cover of someone else's song, so that's interesting. It's interesting to hear. I don't know. It was an interesting thing. I'd have never released a cover song as Super Science before, so that's what's going on tomorrow, Friday, July 19th. So if you're listening to this in the future, all this has happened. You missed the con, but you can still check out my music.
Yeah.
And replays of stuff. Go to Jesse's page and check out pictures.
That's right.
All right. What time is it? Oh, yeah.
It's time.
Melanie, you got anything you want to mention? Oh, she's muted. I shouldn't have.
No.
I got to ask, of course.
Yeah.
Someday she's going to. She's going to have a lot of like news. And I won't ask. And she'll be like, well, hey, what about me, jerko? All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. Pursue your dreams. Take your shot. I don't know where I was going to go. I know where I was going to go with that.
Take your shot? That's problematic.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Grawlix has been canceled indefinitely. Jesse's distancing himself.
Yep. For all future upcoming whatevers.
All future upcoming broadcasts are canceled.
Dang it, Kyle!
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. If you want to hear more, go to grawlixpodcast.com. It's GRAWLIX podcast.com. Bye.